Hi guys, welcome to my next video. In this video I'll show you how you can find an element in a web page and then you can perform actions on them. So in viewer testing we generally perform few basic actions like mouse click, then sending an input from the keyboard, and then verifying the result like reading the result from the browser, and then other is like verifying whether an element is present in browser or not. So we will try to find an element in this browser like this text box. So I will enter here some text, then click on this button and I will verify the result. Okay, so we'll start here. So here in this first video I have launched the URL, and then I need to identify the element and then perform action. So I'll create an element, and that is text box equals to driver dot find element, and then inside this it will take how you want to find this element. So we have something called locators in Selenium. So what this locators do is it will try to identify the element or try to find the element in the browser using the set of values from the browser, like what is the class name of that element, then CSS selector, then what is the ID, then link text, then name, then partial link text, then tag name, and then XPath. So these are the 8 locators present in Selenium by which we can find an element. So let's see what this element contains. So we'll go ahead and see the attribute properties in this elements. So I'll go ahead and point it here. Okay, so you can see this is an input tag element, and it has name equals to text count, type is text, value is 2, ID is text count, and the style is this. So these are the values in the attributes of that element. So in this we have ID as text count. So I'll just copy this and I'll put the ID over here. So we have to pass this as a string. Okay, so now we have a text box which is a web element, and we are finding inside this driver. So when we launch the Chrome browser using this and went to this GID generator URL, so this driver is holding the reference of that particular browser. So inside that browser we can find the element using these locators. So this is the browser. We have the complete HTML body, and inside this we are going to find the element using some of the property values like ID and name. So all those 8 locators. So we can use anything, but we have to make sure that it will identify an element uniquely. Means whatever the property names you will give, it should find an element 1. So using that ID, generally ID is unique over the page, so we take the IDs to find that element. So if I provide this ID, then it will find this, generate some GIDs button, and I can go ahead with name or other example. So I have this iWeb element, generate GID, equals to, now again driver dot find element, and then how we gonna find this element. So I'm going to take the name, and inside this name I will pass the name value. So it will find the element by name and the value is this. So we have got the two elements. So now I need to enter some value in this text box. So by default this may contain some values while loading the page. So we have to make sure that this is cleared. So we can do that by text box dot clear. So we can send keys using this method, and we can pass like 3. So this first it will clear this text box, and then it will send 3 number in that text box. And now I need to go ahead and click on this button. So now we have method like click. So I'll call this, so it will click this button. So we have text box identified, we cleared it, send the keys, and then we have clicked on generate GUID button. So I'll run this test. So in this video I'll just show you how you can directly start by identifying an element using the locators and then performing actions on them. Later you can learn how to perform many other operations, many other ways you can identify an element, so that you can get it later when you have these basic ideas clear, like how you are going to start with Selenium. So here it has launched my browser, went to URL, enter the text and clicked on this button. So it has generated this output. So now I need to read this output and check that there is something. So how we can do is, first we have to identify this box, this area, and then we can read the text. So we will go ahead and inspect this element. Okay, now I'll just hover over this. So here you can see this is a text area, and then inside this text area we have all these values. Okay, so in this text area we need to identify using any of the locators like name, then ID we have, so we can use the tag name also. So we have to make sure that it has only one tag with text area, then only it will identify this uniquely. So I'll use this text area. This you can get is by clicking or typing Ctrl+F, like for finding an element. So you can press here and this will give you this text area. You can search with any keyword. So I'll use this. I'll create a web element. So all this, it will be a web element. So we will put in this result area equals to driver dot find element by dot tag name. So I am going to find this element using tag name, and the value is this. So this is the tag name I am going to use to find this element. Now I am going to read the result, what it contains. So I am going to read the result area dot text. Now I'll store this inside a string. Okay, and so we will put a debug point here and we will see what it has got for us. Or we can print this using console.writeLine, and we'll print the result. Result is this. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and run this test. Okay, so build succeeded. Now it will launch, pass the URL, and then it will enter, then click, and then we have got the result. So it will read and we have got the test case passed. So you can see the output of this test case over here, an output. So we can see result is this. So we have got, sorry, so this is the latest browser. So we have got the same results. So it has read the results. So now you can do whatever you want with this result, whether you want to assert, like verify that I have got the correct result or not. So these are the ways you can identify an element. So you can use the ID. So we just have to read, or we have to just get what is the values and we can put it over there. So now we have one locator, which is the XPath. So this is the most important locator which is widely used. Means you will be using more and more this XPath. So this is very important and as well as little bit difficult to understand. So I'll try to explain it over here. Okay, so what does this XPath mean is, this complete HTML will contain the complete browser elements. So we have this HTML, inside this we have two tags, that is head and body. So inside this body we have form, then inside this form we have divs, and inside div we have these input elements. So this is the text box we wanted to identify. So this is the complete path, like from HTML, then body, then form, then inside this div, and then inside this div we have this input. So this is the complete path traversal. So this is the actually the XPath means. So how we can write the XPath? Let's just identify. We can identify the XPath, evaluate it in the same Chrome browser. Just press Ctrl+F to get this text box, and then we can write here /HTML. Okay. Now in this we can also directly write HTML. So it will reach to the first tag, then inside this HTML we have to go to body. So that body, then we have form, then we have div, then we have input. Okay, so now it has identified the first input inside this div. So similarly we have 9 input elements inside this div and form. So this is the hierarchy. So now we have to go to this text box. So we have to write something which is unique in this input element. So we have name of this as view state, ID is something else, and here in this checkbox, and this is the text box. So we have something like text. Our name is text count. So I'll show you how you can use the attribute to identify the element. So this is the attribute which is in this orange color. Name, type, value, ID, all these are attributes. So you can put the filter criteria like @, then we have type equals to text. Okay, so now we have one element now. So this has uniquely identified this element. So instead of this type we can use name attribute, and then we can go ahead and write here txt cart. So we have provided this complete. So copy this and we will put it in this XPath value. So this is my complete XPath. So now instead of this we can shorten our XPath. How we can do that is, instead of this complete path we can directly reach to the input element is by /. So we'll type / then input. So we will directly reach to input element, and we'll give the filter property like search an input element with name as text count. So it has identified one element. So we can copy this XPath, and instead of this we can use our shortened text XPath. So this is the way we can find an element. So I'll just put it over here as 2, and then I'll run the test, and I'll close this browser which has been already opened. So now it will try to identify that element using the XPath. So it has launched the browser, then URL, then it has entered the 2 number, and we have got the result. So you can see we have got output as this. Okay, so this is the XPath we have identified. Now we can even use here the star. What does this star means is, any tag name which has attribute as name equals to text count. So this is where we can use, like if something is there, any attribute like any tag name which has this attribute as this value. Now instead of this we can put it here star as well, like star equals to text count. So this is means any tag name with any attribute whose value is text count. So this way it will, if it finds that element uniquely, then it's a valid XPath. So we have identified 1 of 1. Okay, so this also has reduced my XPath. So similarly there are lot of ways you can find an element using the XPath. So this is exactly the XPath, how you can find. So here we can pass the tag name, then you can pass here the attribute name, and then here the attribute value inside this square braces. So thank you guys for watching this video.